this thing which is cropping up is, okay, if women can join the fighter stream, when is it that you'll find the women into the submariner? So your take, I
that's an interesting question. No, that's an interesting question because I personally feel that women in no way are inferior to men when it comes to. I mean, they're not expected to go into a hand-to-hand combat in a submarine with an enemy.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're mentally inferior or physically inferior or any way. They're as good, if not better. And the Navy has, our women officers in the Navy have proved it over the years that they're as good as the men. The submarine has a very strange working environment. In fact, not only the Indian Navy, but there are, of course, there are some navies which have women on board. The British Royal Navy has, the Royal Australian Navy has, the Dutch Navy has, the German Navy has. But they also took a long time before they took this conscious decision that will they allow women on board submarines or not. One of the reasons they were forced to do it is because there is fundamentally a shortage of manpower in these countries. They don't have large populations. So if you had to man your crews, you needed women. Notwithstanding that, in fact, the German Navy is one of the first navies where there's a woman commanding officer of a submarine. There's a lady commanding officer now. So they're obviously as good as the men. The submarine being a very cramped environment, and our social sort of structures being the way they are, it would take time before we'll be able to create an environment on board which is sort of compatible for women officers or sailors to be comfortable in. Just to quote a small example. In a submarine where there are 60 people in a crew, there are only 2 toilets, just 2.
Absolutely.
For 60 people. So people actually stand in a queue waiting to go to the toilet in the morning. Now it will be a very odd situation if after 2 men, there's a lady standing in a queue and then another 2 men behind that. It's not that it can't be done. It will just take a lot of getting used to. Absolutely. So I think these things will happen. These bastions will break down. But I think we should not rush into them. We should understand all that and then bring it in a very sort of calibrated, measured way. Check, see what all improvements can be done. For example, now we are going to get lady officers on board warships, let's say. So the new warships that are coming are being designed in such a way that there would be accommodation that can be reserved for lady officers where, the toilets may be different, the cabins may be in a different alleyway. They don't have to, these more personal things they don't have to share with the men. Now, this is very different from the culture that prevails in the West. I'll give you a small example. In India, when you are frisked at the airport, a lady is frisked in a closed cubicle by another lady.
Yes.
But when you go to Europe, a lady could be frisking you, a man could be frisking the lady passenger in full view of everybody. So these are the sort of social differences that exist in India. There are these social issues which exist in India and they will take some time to get used to it. But mark my words, 10 years down the line, I won't be surprised and I'll be quite happy to see a lady officer on board a submarine.
Then I'm sure it will be. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
We have seen, we have seen the induction of lady officers in the services, in our service careers. And initially, the kind of teething problems were there. We are well aware of them. Like you said, separate toilets, separate rooms, not sharing the rooms. And you as male officers, you share the rooms in the messes and other places. Deployment in the field, in the tents. So, there have been challenges and which over a period of time, they have been overcome. And I'm sure even this is going to come, like you said, all these bastions are going to be broken someday or the other.